Hey everyone, welcome to Judging for the Win. I'm Dave, and this is my daily ruling. Today's question comes to us straight out of the Judge Vault, and it was requested by viewer Jay Straza. Amy attacks with Alesha, who smiles at death. She pays 2 for its ability and targets Master of Cruelties. What happens? Alright, so Master of Cruelties says that it can only attack alone. That ability is a restriction. It says Master of Cruelties can't attack unless some condition is met. In this case, the condition would be for Master of Cruelties to be the only attacking creature. Restrictions like that only matter when you're declaring your attackers. If such a creature becomes an attacking creature in some other way, for example, if you put it on the battlefield attacking, that bypasses the restriction. The game only checks restrictions at that one specific time, and if the game somehow gets into a state where you're breaking a restriction later, it doesn't go back in time or try to fix the situation. This means Amy could use Alesha to return Master of Cruelties tapped and attacking just fine. In fact, she could even return a creature with Defender to the battlefield attacking Nick, and that creature would go on to deal its damage just like any other creature would. And speaking of that, let's take a look at Master of Cruelties' other ability, the one that triggers when it attacks a player and isn't blocked. Well, if Nick doesn't block Master of Cruelties here, he's going to go to 1. If Master of Cruelties is attacking a player and that player doesn't block it, that fulfills the trigger condition and that ability will trigger, even if Master of Cruelties was never actually declared as an attacking creature. This happens during the declare blocker step, which is before combat damage is dealt. Master of Cruelties might not be dealing any damage this combat, but Alesha still will. And if that was attacking Nick too, it's game over for him. Now, I think this is really confusing, because putting a creature onto the battlefield attacking does not count for a lot of other things that say whenever this creature attacks. For example, if you put a Cavalry Pegasus into play like this, Alesha would not gain flying. In fact, I made a whole episode about how putting something into play attacking doesn't count for all kinds of things that you might normally think it would. But abilities with a trigger condition like Master of Cruelties just work differently. They don't care about whether the creature actually attacked, only whether it had any blockers declared for it. So it would not trigger if you used ninjutsu to put Master of Cruelties in unblocked, but it would trigger if you put it in as an attacker and the defending player didn't declare any blockers for it. I'll confess that even I find this explanation a little unsatisfying, because even after knowing the distinction, it still does seem a little arbitrary. I think if you took a bunch of people who didn't play Magic and showed them Alesha next to Master of Cruelties and Cavalry Pegasus, a lot of them would say that both work, and a lot would say that neither worked, but I don't expect anybody to say that one works and the other doesn't. As part of the research for this episode, I tried to come up with a template that I thought would be less confusing. If Master of Cruelties said something like, whenever a player that this creature is attacking is declaring blockers, if that player does not block Master of Cruelties, well, that would be a lot clearer in how this specific interaction works, but probably a lot less intuitive in the general sense. And I wasn't able to come up with any solutions that I thought really stood out in this regard. If anyone in the comments has any better ideas, I'd definitely love to hear them. That's all I have for you today. How did you do? Join me again next time for another Daily Ruling. Until then, I hope you have a great day.